Another thing that we need to think about is food as fun. We need to start having a little fun with our food, and that can be difficult. Right now, our plates can be filled with just white garbage and sugar and carbs. We eat a lot of things that maybe aren't great for us. This is a typical day for my teenager and what he eats. So some chocolate milk and some popcorn chicken with some rice, and sometimes he drinks his sugar, right? So he'll have a Coke or a lemonade, and that is just tons of sugar. A healthy adult might think like, oh, I had some coffee and a banana, had a little sandwich. Oh, maybe I had a burger and a salad for supper. And so you're trying, and you get to the salad and you put some dressing on it. And now you're adding in more sugar and more fat because these sugars are hiding everywhere. It's hiding in our condiments and in our drinks. And the reason that sugar is a problem is because it causes inflammation and a bunch of other things. So Starbucks and Caribou coffee, your coffee drinks that are 66 grams of sugar, that is garbage. A caramel frappuccino, 66 grams of sugar. No, nobody should be drinking that. Think before you drink. The pop and beverage industry it's kind of a terrible thing. When I was a young mother, I thought I'll give my kids maybe a Bargs or an orange because it's caffeine free. So that's got to be a better option. And what you really find out is that bottle of orange pop has got 75 grams of sugar in it. My kids shouldn't have that much sugar in an entire month. And I'm going to give them this bottle and be like, okay, go sit down and be quiet. Drink your pop and go sit down. Doesn't work. And the labels are confusing. We're confused by this gimmick marketing and these confusing labels. So how much is 25 grams of sugar, which an adult can have in a day? I don't know. Well, it's 2 tablespoons of sugar. 1 teaspoon of sugar is about 5 grams. And so if you look at a bottle of Coke, you have 65 grams of sugar. And maybe you know somebody who drinks Coke all day. So they have 4 bottles throughout the day. And then in a week, they've had 1,800 grams of sugar. Well, I don't know what that is, but I can comprehend that in that week, they've had approximately 4 pounds of sugar. That's too much. It's too much. And maybe, it's not pop. There is sugar hiding everywhere. These big companies are out to make money. That is it. This is a publicly traded corporation, Coca-Cola Bottling Company. They have shareholders who want profit, and they're profiting off of our health. So it's not just them. It's McDonald's, it's Haagen-Dazs, it's Mountain Dew, it's Snickers, it's General Mills. It's all these big companies profiting off of you. If you are taking in this much sugar, you're going to start to feel bad. So why do we care about sugar? It impacts our chemistry in a bad way. Carbohydrates, also called carbs, are a type of nutrient. And there are 3 basic forms, right? It's sugar, starch, and fiber. Carbs all fall into those categories. And when we break them down, the sugar and the starch, it turns up as glucose in our bloodstream. And the fiber passes through undigested and it feeds our microbiome and it helps our gut to feel good. So the 2 main hormones from the pancreas that help control this glucose, this sugar that's in the bloodstream, are insulin and glucagon, and they help to keep that blood sugar balanced. There are lots of things that go into blood sugar. But when you eat a lot of sugar, insulin is affected, which can lead to high blood sugar and excess fat storage. So when people eat sugar, the brain produces this huge surge of dopamine. And it's similar to the way the brain reacts when it uses heroin or cocaine. So you need to treat sugar like a drug. And fake sugar, it's even worse for your communication system. So what should we eat? We've talked a lot about what not to eat, but now what should we eat? What do we need to be putting in? Regenerative, organic, nutrient-rich, whole food is the best food. Our modern world is filled with this gimmick marketing and this garbage food, and supplements can help to fill some of those nutritional gaps that are left by the industrial food system. So we're going to talk about vitamins, and there are fat-soluble vitamins, and then there are water-soluble vitamins. And fat-soluble vitamins would be like A, D, and K. They take a little time to build up in the body. It takes a little time to get a good store of vitamin D, say. Vitamin D is what we get from the sun. And we live in the north. So in the north, even if you're outside all day with your shirt off, you are not going to get enough vitamin D. So especially going into winter months, this is a good one to start supplementing because it takes a little time to build up. It's stored in the fat. And then we have water soluble vitamins, and those we have to take in every day, either through the food we eat or through supplements. And if we get a little deficient or a little low in B vitamins, this can have ripple effects in our chemistry. When the B vitamins are lacking, you can feel a little off. You can feel a little funky. It can affect your mood and it can affect your chemistry in your brain. If you don't have enough B, you maybe can't make the right serotonin to actually feel happy. C is another water soluble, and that comes from citrus fruits, and it helps with mood and it helps with the immune system. So these vitamins are all important to help us be a healthy human. Another thing in food that we should think about is the glycemic index, and that just talks about how food affects that blood sugar. So if you're eating a fruit with a low glycemic index, you'd be thinking grapefruit. And a high glycemic index would be watermelon. For dairy, a high glycemic index would be ice cream. And ice cream is garbage and nobody should eat it. And a low glycemic index would be like low fat yogurt. So it's just looking at how the food affects your glycemic index or the blood sugar. In the 1990s, when I was learning about the food pyramid, we were taught to fill up on bread and cereal and grains, and then have some fruits and vegetables and some meat and dairy and cheese, and then use the fats on top sparingly. And what we've found through time is that that isn't really the best way to sustain a healthy human. What you really need is a plant-based diet. So you need to have non-starchy plant-based foods as the bulk of your plate. And then some healthy fats. So fats get a really bad rap, but we need them. Our brain is coated in fat. And so if we're not taking in good fats like avocado and walnuts and almonds and farm fresh raised eggs and beef, then we don't have the right things to keep our brain functioning properly. We also need fruits and vegetables, and then we get into like grains, and we want to limit grains a little bit and be a little particular about them. Right now in America, we eat a lot of corn, rice, and wheat. And these things are just sprayed with chemicals. The industrial food system is just killing these crops. And so if we can get away from those, we are definitely going to benefit in the long run from that. So a plate should really have a variety of colors. We should be eating the rainbow. Also using olive oil in your cooking and spices. We should be spicing everything. Spices are so good for the body. Mayo Clinic suggests that we also focus on a plant-based diet again. Eat meat as well. There's nothing wrong with meat, but you want to have clean meat. And when I say clean meat, I mean like go find a farmer and get a cow butchered. Make sure that cow has been fed clean, good food. When your meat has been fed garbage, chemical-laden grains, you get garbage meat. So we need to have clean food, clean meat. And what does that look like? Well, it kind of looks like this. It's natural colors. There's not a lot of chemical bright colors. There's not a lot of sauce. There's not a lot of sugar and dressing. Just clean eating, whole foods throughout the day. And so the ticket here is that you have to get back into the kitchen. So at my house, we do dangerous chefs. And I cook all kinds of stuff, and I light things on fire and I spill and I make a mess, and I just try to have fun with it. Even though it's not one of my favorite things, I've learned that I can't go to McDonald's and get that yummy breakfast burrito. I can't get this clean whole food anywhere else but in my kitchen. So get in the kitchen and try to have some fun with it. Try new things and be creative because we need a variety of food.